Now they're just bracing for severe weather, courtesy of Isaac. WALB News 10's Cade Fowler joins us live once again from Panama City with the latest.
Yeah, and good morning to you, Carla. Tropical storm watch in effect here for Bay County and much of the Panhandle. You wouldn't know it, though, by looking at that. You get a good look at the Gulf here as the sun rises over Panama City. Very nice conditions out there. The water not too choppy at all. Yellow flags are flying here, but it's on further down in the Gulf, hundreds of miles away, where Tropical Storm Isaac is churning, and all eyes here on Isaac, even though it is making that westward track. Depending on how powerful that storm gets, depends on how bad things can get around here. We're talking about the potential of storm surges, 4 to 6 feet, the potential of up to 8 foot of rain, and as we mentioned in the 6:30 hour, Hurricane Ivan spawned some tornadoes here a few years ago. An emergency declaration was declared by commissioners last night. It does not appear that any evacuations are necessary, though it has taken a hit on tourism. They're hoping that all this bad weather goes away by the Labor Day weekend. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Until yesterday that Isaac would have a direct hit.
Yeah, good morning, Carla. Well, the news here this morning in Panama City, much different than it was this time yesterday morning when Isaac was expected to have a more profound impact on the Panhandle. Talk about what a difference a day makes. Folks here were preparing for the worst, but as they saw Isaac making that westward track into the Gulf, well, they lost some of their fears, but they're not out of the woods just yet. This storm, depending on how powerful it gets on the eastern edge of that storm, you could get some severe weather. What's at risk here? Storm surges, lots of rainfall, and of course severe weather and the potential threat for tornadoes. Now let's go to some of the video, and you want to talk about some beautiful beach weather yesterday here in Panama City Beach. Take a look at this. Very nice outside. You wouldn't have even had a clue yesterday that a tropical storm watch was in effect here. Beautiful beach weather, but some businesses not taking any chances, boarding up their windows. Some condos here, sandbagging, stacking pool furniture, clearing off some of those palm trees as well. Locals we talked to, some not as worried, others staying prepared.
Read it off.
Yellow flag flying here, a little choppy out there in the Gulf. Now, the Bay County Commission did declare an emergency declaration yesterday. They were going to meet at 7 o'clock this morning Central Time to discuss the possibility of evacuations. Of course, they were waiting to see the latest storm track to make that call. It does not look as though there will be any evacuations here. However, they did open one shelter here in Panama City Beach, though, as we mentioned, not out of the woods yet. It's going to be raining here. It's clear here this morning, as you can see, just a light breeze blowing, but tonight the rain comes in. They're expecting up to 12 inches of rainfall in an already saturated area, so there could be flooding problems here. And then, of course, those storm surges could get up to 4 feet. And again, there is, of course, the potential threat for tornadoes, as we've seen with tropical storms over the past few years that have skated by here. About 2.5 years. A tropical storm, a hurricane, it sort of skates towards the direction of Panama City Beach. They've been lucky, though. Hurricane Opal really did a number here back in 1995. The last time a hurricane really made a direct hit, though, in Panama City Beach, way back in 1975. That was Hurricane Eloise. Of course, they're hoping for the best, preparing for the worst here in Panama City, and we're going to have more on the effects of Tropical Storm Isaac as we come up in the top of the half hour. For now, we're reporting live in Panama City Beach. Carla, back to you.
All right, joins us once again from Panama City, where it appeared until yesterday Isaac would make a direct hit.
Yeah, it sure did, Carla, and ironically, we've got beautiful beach weather out here yesterday. We've under beautiful conditions right now. We've got clear skies, a little bit of a breeze blowing here, but of course that is all subject to change. Rain is moving in tonight. Lots of rain expected here over the next few days, and even though Isaac is making that turn towards the west, folks here are still concerned. When it appeared that Isaac was going to make a direct hit on Panama City just about 48 hours ago, that sent a lot of tourists packing. It led a lot of beachside resorts here to make preparations in case they did have a direct hit from a hurricane. Not out of the woods, though, just yet. That led Bay County commissioners to issue an emergency declaration. The uncertainty of Tropical Storm Isaac's path led to a sense of uncertainty, and it could still get messy here. And one thing that folks here are really keeping a close eye on is just how powerful Isaac gets out in the Gulf. It could still cause quite a few problems here. Some of the things at risk, we're talking about storm surges up to 4 feet. They're expecting upwards of 12 inches of rainfall, and this is an area that's already seen an abundance of rainfall. And of course, there is a threat for severe weather, possibly tornadoes. You remember Hurricane Ivan a few years ago? When it came through, it spawned several tornadoes here, one of which went through downtown Panama City. It was caught on camera. You may remember seeing that video. Caused some damage here in this area. So they are accustomed to this kind of weather. Of course, right now, hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, especially those beachside resorts. Keep in mind, coming up next weekend is the Labor Day weekend, the last big hoorah here in Panama City. They're hoping that all this weather clears up by then. Carla?
All right, thanks, Cade. Well, Panama...
Good evening, I'm Cade Fowler, and these are the stories making headlines tonight at 7. A Cordele store clerk is recovering tonight after she was shot last night during an armed robbery. It happened at the Dollar General while customers were still in the store. Police arrested 21-year-old Gregory Foreman around midnight at a home on 10th Street. He is charged with armed robbery but faces other charges, including aggravated assault. Detectives aren't sure if he shot the clerk intentionally. Police are reviewing surveillance video. As Tropical Storm Isaac churns in the Caribbean tonight, emergency management officials here at home are carefully watching it. It could have a major impact on South Georgia next week. Doherty County EMA Director Jim Vaught was on a conference call with the National Weather Service this afternoon. Some forecast models show Isaac heading right into South Georgia, and planning is underway just in case it impacts our area. Vaught says now is a good time to sign up for the county's free Code Red alert system. The Albany Police Department has acquired 29 new police cars. Officers say the new 2012 Dodge Chargers will help them better protect the community. The department already has 6 Chargers on the streets, and they say that officers can now focus more on stopping crime and worrying less about starting up a worn-out car. The new vehicles are fuel efficient, with each costing around $42,000. Investigators are trying to track down an arsonist who set fire to a Tifton car dealership last night. The majority of the damage at Budget Car Sales was in the back of the building, but it could have been a lot worse had it not been for the quick response of firefighters. WALB News 10's Stephanie Springer has a story.
This was
damage from the fire. Yesterday, we showed you surveillance video of gunmen robbing a West Albany convenience store. Now police want you to take a look at video of the getaway car. Cameras at Mellow Mushroom captured video of this car, possibly a Nissan, driving off shortly after 2 gunmen robbed the Bald Eagle Sitco on Lido Road. It happened around 10:30 Tuesday night. The clerk, who is pregnant, had a gun pointed at her face. The robbers took off with 2 cash drawers. Again, if you have any information about this, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers or Albany Police. Plywood and batteries, bottled water and flashlights, these are the kinds of things on the shopping lists of customers in Florida, and we all know why. The Home Depot in Miami was buzzing with activity as locals prepared for Tropical Storm Isaac. It's, as we said, still a tropical storm, though forecasters say there's a chance it will strengthen to a hurricane before its possible Florida landfall on Monday.
Some tornadoes associated with Isaac.
Yeah, and as a native of the Sunshine State, as you are, you've seen many of these, and they are kind of hard to track when they're so far down, in this case, not even in the Gulf, in the Caribbean.
That's right. That's why that cone of uncertainty is so wide, Kay, because it could be anywhere from, say, Cedar Key all the way over to Mobile, Alabama. All
right, well, we'll certainly keep a close eye on it, Jay. Thanks a lot. With summer break over and kids back in school, traffic at the WALB word on their conditions. Breaking news happening now in East Albany. Within the past hour, a body was discovered in the 2200 block of Clark Avenue. We believe it's either in or near Mimosa Mobile Home Park. We're told police are on the scene right now, but we don't know how the person died or who discovered the body. We have a crew headed to the scene. Any updates, look for those on WALB.com and tonight at 11. And drug agents are still on the scene of a huge marijuana bust in Axon County, where officers spotted numerous pot plants from the air. The Axon County Sheriff says the pot plants are on 9 plots hidden in pine trees just east of Willacoochee near Highway 82. The governor's task force on drug suppression says it's the largest find in South Georgia so far this year. So far, no one's been arrested. WALB News 10 is on the scene, and we'll keep you updated here and on WALB.com. And the polls just closed around Georgia on this runoff Tuesday. In Tift County, 3 races will be decided in the next few hours, one of them for sheriff. I was in Tifton for the runoff elections and spoke with the 2 men running to become the county's top lawman. Tift Avenue was campaign central. The signs were out, the hands were waving in a last-minute effort to get those crucial votes. Temperature-wise, thank you, Jay. A Papa John's pizza driver is recuperating after being attacked and held hostage last night. It happened in Phoenix City as the man attempted to make a delivery. Raycom News Network's Rosalind Giles has a story. And so it goes on even after a verdict is rendered. In this case, Apple and Samsung have other similar ones pending in courtrooms in Australia, the United Kingdom, and Germany. Bad news from electronics retailer Best Buy. It reported an 87% drop in year-over-year net income last quarter. Best Buy says the whole electronics industry is lowering expectations, and uncertainty about new products is making the situation worse. It's the latest in a string of problems for the company. Best Buy's founder and former chairman Richard Schulze is trying to take back the company, but negotiations have reached an impasse. And earlier this year, CEO Brian Dunn abruptly left because of what the company called an inappropriate relationship with a co-worker. It seems that sex does sell. America's demand for the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy helped Barnes & Noble post better than expected quarterly numbers, but the book chain CEO won't share explicit details, only telling analysts the books by E.L. James had the biggest impact on the numbers. The bookseller reported a net loss of $41 million in the quarter ending July 28. That's a 28% improvement over the same period last year. Jimmy Kimmel is going head-to-head with the big boys of late-night TV right here on ABC. The network has announced it's moving Jimmy Kimmel Live from midnight to an 11:35 p.m. start on January 9th. That will put Kimmel in direct competition with NBC's Jay Leno and CBS's David Letterman, and it pushes ABC's long-running news program Nightline back an hour. ABC's president says she sees potential for increased advertising revenue with the shift. Former Lowndes High baseball player Stephen Drew now finds himself in the middle of a